Hi there, Andy Ron here with Montana Land Source with this week's video summary of the Montana Land Report for April 2nd, 2022. We have finally seen it. We've finally seen a bunch of new listings come on the market. 12 new listings in the past week, which is prior to this week. We generally have only seen that many listings throughout the whole month. I would say on average, we've been seeing about 4 listings a week all through 2022 on average. This week, 12 new listings. It is the time of the season. We're heading into spring, into prime showing season. And so we're finally seeing some properties back in on the market. I was watching closely the total number of listings on the market. As you know, if you've been listening to these reports, that we're down 50% from pre-COVID levels. We're still at that level. Today, there's 307 properties on the market, or typically there's over 600 properties on the market. I was curious to see if we were ever going to dip below 300. That's an arbitrary number, but still just interesting to see if we were going to ever get that low. I think we got down to 302 properties on the market. It looks like that's going to be a low, and that we're going to go up from here if that trend continues. And again, talking to listing agents and a few sellers, the big issue with inventory is that people can't find replacement property. Talking to some brokers who have ranches coming on the market soon, it's interesting that a few of those have stated that their sellers are not planning to replace ag property. And that seems to be a big issue with why there aren't more properties on the market. It's just so tough to replace if that's what you want to do. But some of these sellers are getting out of agriculture entirely, getting out of rural land ownership entirely. So it's a good time as long as you don't have to replace property. But that is the big issue. So a total of 31 property updates in the past week, 1 property back on the market. Like I said, 12 new listings, 7 pending sales, 4 price changes, and 7 sales. Of those price changes, 2 of them are price increases, so that shows some optimism in this market. But it's interesting, if you look at the stats on Montana Land Source, remember on Montana Land Source we have live market stats. They're updated daily as we enter and update listings and sales data and whatnot. And stuff is starting to get really interesting. If you look at on our market stats page, one of the really interesting stats is that for sales in 2022, sale prices are actually down 13% from 2021. And I've been cautious about that number. One of the issues with our stats page, we have it set to start fresh January 1st every year. And this is something I think we need to address in the future, because when we're into January, there's not that much data points. And so things can kind of be misleading, right? If there happens to be a low sale or two, it makes it look like some trend that's really not the case. But here we are now in April. We've had 4 months of data accumulating. I've been watching this closely, and we are slightly down in sale price from 2021, up significantly from 2020, but down from 2021. And it's also interesting, the listing price per acre is way up from 2021. And we've seen this before, and particularly in the lead up to 2028, with list prices far exceeding sale prices. That delta, in normal times in the Montana land market, the average is probably 15 to 20% difference between sale price and list prices of listings and then what they ultimately sell for. It looks like that is diverging, and it makes sense. We're all aware that this is a very hot market. It's still strong demand, still limited supply. So there's still reason to believe that there should be price pressure up, but I suspect that pressure is reaching its limit. Buyers in this market are not highly motivated in the sense that they're not desperate, they're not emotional, they know what they want, and generally they're patient. If they haven't found what they want so far, they're willing to wait and shop around, and that's in general. 2021 was a little different than that, a little hotter in that sense. So, and I've been saying all along that we're suspecting 2022 to cool somewhat, certainly in volume. We are down 50% in the total number of sales from this date a year ago. and about the same 36% from 2020, which again, 2020, we were just getting into COVID zone right about now as far as the land market goes. So that's what's new in the Montana land market. The Montana Farm and Ranch Brokers at their monthly meeting tomorrow is having a land appraiser panel with appraisers from all over the state weighing in on what they're seeing. We've got appraisers from all corners of the state. Anybody is welcome to attend that meeting. It's in person here in Billings, Montana at the Billings Association of Realtors, but it's also available via Zoom. Again, anyone can join those meetings, but it's only $25 to join the organization. So I encourage you to consider doing that. All that information is on the mtlandsource.com, the events page for the upcoming Montana Farm and Ranch Brokers meeting. That is the report for this week. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Please find us on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and at mtlandsource.com. And do me a favor and like and share the content. Thank you. Have a good and safe week.